Hello, everyone. Would you like a Tickle Me Wiggly today? Well, too bad. We're doing StarKid Spotlight, episode 12. How you guys doing today? We're doing StarKid Spotlight, where we talk about the fabulous StarKid musicals. And today we're talking about Black Friday.
That's right. We're talking about it on a Wednesday.
Yes.
Oh, the hysterical irony.
Yes. Maybe it's coming out on, the episode will be out on a Saturday, so never mind. But it's that time again. I'm Random Bystander here.
I'm the washy-washy.
The washy-washy. I was gonna say I'm Tickle Me Wiggly, but I can't do the Tickle Me Wiggly voice, so
Hello there, KirbyFan. Hello, Wash.
Random says I can do the guy from Annie pretty well. I forget what he sounds like.
Ah, that's where the
Something
comedy
like
comes
this,
in.
probably.
Oh, you mean Pappy?
Yeah, I'm Tickle Me Wiggly.
What's this tick? Does Annie like the Tickle Me Wiggly?
Why are we always talking about Annie more than any other musical?
It's kind of like Cars. In
But
that
Wiggly
it's just like Cars.
loves
It's
to
just
build
like
the
Cars.
Lego.
It's just like Cars. So Annie is the Cars of StarKid.
And what is it? What was the red line? I forget.
Oregon Trail to Oregon.
Yeah. Trail to
Trail to
Oregon. That was the red
Anyways, we're not talking about any of these. We are talking about Black Friday. As of now, StarKid's final musical production.
line. Oh no.
We'll say their latest production.
So
we don't doom it ahead of time.
As of now,
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. As of now,
I know how your predictions are with things getting delayed, Random.
Yes. As of now, Black Friday is StarKid's latest production. It was produced in like 2019. Came out in like 2020, I believe.
It did March 2020, right before everything happened.
Yeah. I remember. Because I actually watched this one before watching The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals. Yeah, I don't know why, but I did. I watched them completely out of order. So, but at the most part, I'm just gonna go to my experience since I'm already talking about it now. There were a lot of things that I did not get or understand, or I was just like, oh, what? Okay, why does this matter? Why are a bunch of people I've never seen before suddenly in the finale? That's weird. But we'll
talk about that too.
I will talk about that. But I still found the story really nice. I enjoy the characters. I enjoy the performances. I enjoy the music. And I was so happy to see a return of a certain actor who we will talk about. So happy. So happy. Like, I literally, I applauded when I saw it for the first time, which I actually saw. I was in the break room for my job at the time. I was just looking for stuff on YouTube to watch during my break. I only had a half hour, and for some reason, StarKid's Black Friday was on my recommendations.
That's not for some reason. There is exactly one reason why it would be.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. But even then, I wasn't really that into StarKid at the time. I still watched Starship occasionally, but that's it. So I guess I was just surprised to oh, okay. And then I just got into it, and then a half hour passed, and I'm like, no, I want to watch the rest of it. And during the off time at work when no one was there but me, I would just watch it, and then I eventually watched it at home, and I was like, oh, it's pretty good. It was all right. Still some weird things I don't understand, but I think that involves having me not watching The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals. I'm gonna go watch that next.
Oops.
Oops. Schwupsie. That's my experience with Black Friday. How about you two?
I've worked Black Fridays. That's my experience.
Yeah, same here.
I know you both work Black Fridays. I do not envy either of you. It's good lord.
Working Black Friday was not fun in any job that involves retail or customer service.
I know people forming a cult and the possibility of a dark god becoming resurrected might sound kind of silly to you, Wash, but that happens at least once a year.
Yep,
and it's always on Black Friday.
Yep.
This is based off a true story.
Oh my god. Ooh. But yeah, no. Other than that, no experience with this musical, I assume.
My experience is that if you remember, listeners, in episode 11, I said, "Hey, does General Mcnamara show up in the next one?" Random said, "I will neither confirm or deny," which means it happened.
Yeah. I didn't want to give it away.
But aside from that, like I kept seeing Black Friday, of course, in the on the sidebar, and the only thing is that I really know about it is that there's a creepy doll. And
yeah.
Like, okay.
Yep.
Creepy doll. Got it.
A creepy doll, funny enough, that StarKid actually did sell, and it's sold out really quick. So
big shock.
And it's still sold out to this day. Because I'm so mad because I could have gotten a Tickle Me Wiggly and I didn't. Because I don't know why.
It's better for you that you didn't.
Yeah, I know.
After I looked at it funny, you'd kill us.
Yeah. Give me the doll. It breaks our friendship. It destroys the podcast.
It's gonna do a lot more than that.
And then meanwhile, you give it to your nephew. It's like, I want to play Fortnite.
He wants to play Stardew Valley on the Switch.
Aww.
Anyway,
it's like that Powerpuff Girls clip when they're like, "Oh, can I hold the cat?" The professor's like, "I'm the only one who can hold Kitty."
Oh, that's what it reminded me of. Yeah.
Yeah. That's. Do you want to?
He like hunches over and runs away.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the plot? Who wants to do a plot synopsis?
Who's gonna do the last one?
Oh my goodness, this is the last one of this. At least so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not counting any one-offs. Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess we didn't like it very much, huh?
No. No, I would just, all right, I'll do it since it's the last one. Kirby, you only got to do one this time for now.
I only did one.
Yes, you only did one. So there you go.
I'll be doing a lot. Teaser.
Yes, trust me. The Tickle Me Wiggly doll made by Uncle Wiley Toys is coming out on Black Friday for $49.95. And Tom. Yeah, Tom wants to get a doll for his son Tim. And he goes and waits in line for Black Friday. Meanwhile, it also has other plot threads such as Lex Foster trying to get a Tickle Me Wiggly sold to a buyer so she can escape with her boyfriend.
To California.
Yeah.
Yes, I wasn't gonna be the one to say it, but
yep.
I guess.
Yeah.
She was escaping with her boyfriend and sister to California, and so they're able to get started a new life. It also involves Becky Barnes, Tom Houston's previous flame, and finally, it involves a doll trying to take over the world in Hatchetfield and cause World War III.
Wait, Hatchetfield? But that's the town we visited in the last musical.
Yes, yeah, it is.
And didn't that end with everybody dying? What? This one starts with two characters who died in the last one being dead?
It does. It's almost like it's a parallel universe.
I was gonna say bad fan fiction.
I was gonna we'll save it, but like the ending of it kind of confused me with like parallel universe versus sequel. But obviously we can get to that.
We'll talk about that later. Although
it can't be any less confusing than talking about Potter sequel and being like, okay, I'm gonna say the word sequel, but because it has a sequel, I'm talking about the prequel, which was actually the sequel. But the sequel was senior year, but the sequel is a prequel. It's less confusing than that.
And the sequel is the prequel's prequel. What the fuck?
What were they thinking?
That was a reference to the nerd. Anyway, yeah, this show starts out with like an advertisement for Tickle Me Wiggly with everybody in like little wiggly suits. And then it starts with, the return of Paul Matthews and Emma Perkins, which, yes, were the two from the last musical, and they play their roles really well. I know we'll talk about more about the returning characters and when we get to the ending, but first off, when I first watched the show, I was like, oh, who are these guys? They must be the main characters. Nope. Okay, we're gonna go to Dylan Saunders. Okay. But
Yeah.
so I did not get all the references, like with Paul just saying like he didn't like the musical advertisement, and Emma just going, okay.
Yes, I noticed.
And I was just like, oh, that's so cool.
I do want to bring up, Paul is 2 for 2 on these. Musicals destroying the world, and the commercials or the jingles or whatever, also destroying the world. He's 2 for 2.
Yeah.
Nerdy Prudes is gonna open. He's gonna be like, "Man, I hate nerds," and then the nerds are gonna destroy the world.
Yep.
Well, in this case, what destroys the world is humans.
Yes. Because
The monster was in the closet and inside the house.
No, we're the only 3 who's gonna understand this, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. The monster was in the truck.
Yeah.
The monster's in the truck one of these days.
But yeah, it was nice to see them, but we actually focus on Tom Houston, who is Emma Perkins' brother-in-law, and he is played by returning StarKid actor Dylan Saunders. I missed him.
So this is a surprise because I'm not sure if it's specifically unionized or just something similar, but he's expensive now.
Yes.
Like, they had to pay money to get Dylan Saunders in on this. And obviously, it's not Dylan Saunders being like, I'm not going to work, you guys. You got to pay me this. Obviously, I'm sure he's thrilled to be back.
Yeah.
But that's how acting goes. When you get labeled, so to speak, you need to pay out the big bucks in order to
exactly
not specifically have. If they were like, oh, take him, then it would be less. But they want money, so they're going to ask for more.
They also got to apply to union standards, too.
Yep,
So,
that as well. That as well.
So
yeah, that's true.
It's great to have him back, but the fact that they did all that really shows that like they upped their quality both behind the scenes and like up front.
Definitely
like,
behind.
Also, we're gonna keep mentioning this, I'm sure, but like we've gone 20 years since Harry Potter musical, and you've got Dylan Saunders, Lauren Lopez, Jamie Lynn Betty, Joey Richter, all here from the start, all here from the college days.
Yep.
Back together.
I wouldn't say 20 years. It's more like
I was going to
10.
say, I hate to ruin your math, Wash, but 2009 plus 20 is 2029.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
It's
granted,
been 42 years.
Granted, it doesn't look like most of them are going anywhere.
Yeah.
But
at the same time, like, it's good to see a mix of originals, and we have some new faces too, but we'll get to that.
A lot of new faces.
I was obviously, I was just, saying I was surprised. I was very happy to see Dylan Saunders back, and as far as his singing goes, he hasn't missed a beat.
Yeah, I wanted to keep that quiet for you guys, just to like give you like surprise you a bit, because I was
yeah, it was definitely a big surprise to see him back, and of course to have his own song. Although I will mention that. Having just come off of a guy who didn't like musical, when Dylan Saunders started singing, I was like, "Oh no, they got him already!"
Yeah.
It's like, oh no.
Meanwhile, when I first viewed it, I was like, "Oh, he's just singing."
Now he starts singing. Paul should have been like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. Now, like when I rewatched Black Friday, I was like, okay, should I be alarmed? But then, like, once songs became normal again and not like an alien thing, I was like, okay, we're good for now, maybe.
Until the guy who didn't like musicals too.
I hate to start quote unquote on a sour note, but I definitely preferred the setup of singing being the determining factor than the Tickle Me doll. I definitely singing is just because it's a musical, it's just inherently like you're using the trait of your production. And I mean, credit to them, they made their own doll. It's not like, they bought on like a Woody doll or something. Which they did at one point, now that I think about it.
They did.
A couple plays ago. But
I think if they just kept doing that, though, it would eventually get old. So,
no. I'm not saying they should have just done the same thing over. Just that, compared to the last. I mean, also, guy who didn't like musicals, very hard act to follow.
Yes.
Very.
Very.
That is a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think Dylan did a good job as Tom. Again,
no problems with Dylan Saunders. There are some problems writing-wise that I have with some of this stuff, but as far as Dylan Saunders goes, no problems. He's great.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I kind of, at first he was like a jerk, and I was like, okay, were we doing this again? And then you do, the song he sings, which is, What Tim Wants. And it's just, immediately you sympathize with him. Immediately.
When he enters in, from stage one, from first frame, when there's just you're late. It's 6:30. Yeah, I said 6. From the start, oh, it's a deadbeat dad. But then no, they go through and you see he is a widower to Emma's sister that we
found out through the last musical she died.
Yes, and now we see what had happened to the family after that.
And not only that, Tom's a war veteran. He's got PTSD, not just from the war, but also from that car crash. Whereas we later find out, later on, spoilers, that he was with her when the car crash happened. He was driving. The amount of guilt he feels motivates him throughout the entire play. That's why he wants to get a Tickle Me Wiggly, to make things right with his son.
And also because the doll is hypnotizing him.
And that too. But he was also the doll was taking advantage of people's
it's specifically the doll isn't making people do something that they wouldn't do otherwise. It's going into this primal nerve, I guess.
Yeah.
I probably should, sounds like Firebringer. But going into a primal nerve to make people, and in Tom's case, it's because of his son, because in his mind, he killed his wife.
Yeah. It's why Uncle Wiley said, do you know why it had to be a doll? Because it's nothing. There's nothing more powerful than you have a hole in your soul, but if you just buy this thing, you will feel complete.
Ooh. Yeah.
You could be getting it for your kids. You could be getting it for 4 of your kids. Who knows?
Yep.
But it turns out that none of those kids actually care about this doll. That is a detail I did like, because let's be real, this doll in the market, if this doll would just out like this, I could maybe see it being somewhat popular in the 90s or early 2000s. But it's just hideous.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is fucking ugly.
But hey, it can mind control people, so I guess that's all that matters.
It mind controlled the president, so... Do you want to say anything else about Tom, or anything, or do you want to move on the cast list?
I feel we'll talk about
some writing-related issues that I had with him. But, when we talk about Becky Barnes, I'll get into those.
Becky Barnes, yeah.
Barnes, did I say Burns?
Yes.
Definitely
She's
definitely
not related
tell,
to Mr.
a half
Burns.
hour ago, I watched The Simpsons.
Smithers.
Smithers, get me my daughter Becky.
Sorry, sir, they're all sold out.
Oh, darn it. Lex Foster. Fun fact about her, she was originally supposed to be played by, the girl who played Alice and
Mariah?
Mariah, yes.
That I totally feel it with that same that
yes.
she played. Yeah, I totally feel it.
I kind of prefer Angela though.
She does really good. I was very impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't sing like the rest of StarKid. She has her own rocker type of voice, and it's different, and I like it.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. That it works in a rock sense, but she also still has the pipes for a real dramatic song about. Weirdly, it's a song about dying. It's and about realizing how much you've wasted of your life, and her as she's getting strangled by a brony.
Why'd you have to put it like that?
But that's exactly what
That's
happened.
literally how it is in context.
Literally, in context, it's that the guy likes ponies.
Yep.
Like, what do you think it is?
It's literally like what people think I look like when they see me in line to get amiibo. It's just like,
I will put the Mario amiibo in the bathroom.
But, oh my goodness.
That one was fun. That one was funny when it was just like all this build up is like, oh, we gotta get toys, and then the first guy comes up and says, I would like to buy all the dolls.
Fucking scalpers, man. But also no, because he wanted to actually use them. We'll get to Jamie Lynn Beatty. We will, or Betty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like Lex Foster because, like you said, she has like that, like this rocker attitude, like from her like first song, from the first line, "My mom's a bitch," and I'm just like, okay, California MIA. She like rocks out and like sings and is like very rebellious, very like cashier who like smokes in the back to just like, I don't want to say Squidward because, but she does have like the miserable energy, but like I'm just like I'm tired of it all. But also she's like working to have a better goal in life, and she cares about her sister and her boyfriend. So, and she wants a better life for her and her family.
Yeah, I mean, you said most of what I would say. I was just impressed with how, you know, they wrote a character like that and it worked. It wasn't just like whiny complainy.
Yes.
She just worked because, like you said, she cared.
Yeah, it's not like she just like, oh, I hate my job, I'm lazy.
Yeah.
No, she wants to. She's stealing the Tickle Me Wiggly so she can just have a better life and be an actress.
You're closer to that dream than you think, girl. I did notice, like, she I mean, she didn't keep saying it. It was in the script, and like every time that she said it, she kind of like focused on it more and more. Like, audience, the joke is that I'm an actress, and finally, at some point, the audience laughed. Like, good, finally.
I think they were more focused on like the drama happening.
Yeah, it might be a little early to bring this up, but I guess while we're talking about her and the kind of darker themes that were surrounding her compared to what we're used to, this is I thought Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals was super different. This is super different. I don't go as far as to say it like it's not even a comedy.
I'm going as far as to say that it barely qualifies as a StarKid musical.
Yeah, yes.
Like, we finally made it.
It's a StarKid musical because it has Joey Richter and Lauren Lopez.
but Joey Richter isn't wearing a blue headband, so what's happening?
StarKid has changed.
You're right.
And you know what? For the better. Like, they are taking risk and doing a lot of weird shit. And like, I love it.
I thought you were talking about Joey Richter and the headband. I'm like, that's not for the better.
No.
Go take me back to Starship, please.
What if like Joey Richter's last show, he just goes out with a headband for some reason?
Yeah.
He hasn't worn one in a while. I don't think since senior year.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's worn it for one of their like anniversary specials.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
yeah, this is a lot of a darker show, and it just like it's not mean spirited either. Like, it's never got to a point.
That's important. It's if it's not funny, like if it's not doesn't have like a jovial sense to it, but it's also mean spirited. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's very dark. The ending isn't hopeful, but the moral is very important for one thing, but also very, very uplifting in a sense. Like, okay, so maybe not so much the moral, but more so, I guess, Tom's, I don't even want to say redemption, but just the scene with Tom and Lex at the end. I know you know which one I'm talking about.
Yup.
That one was probably, it's not my favorite song, but as far as like this scene goes, that was probably my favorite scene of the production. I really liked that one.
Yeah. That was, I really liked that scene too, because it really is Tom's wake up call.
Yes.
And
I really like that, in the beginning of the play, like you said, it established that he wants to connect with his son and that he's going to get this doll. He has this whole big, important, well, not big, but an important emotional musical number about it. And then at the very end, he just kind of gets it torn away because it's like, did he ever ask for it?
yeah,
This isn't what he wants. This is not what he wants. You're what he wants.
yeah,
I
you're what he
did
wants.
notice that like in that opening with Tim, like I did notice that like at no point did this kid ever mention a doll, and in fact I could have sworn he said he wanted a bicycle.
Missed opportunity for him to say I want to be in a musical, and then Paul just like beat the crap out of him.
Aww.
Oh my lord.
Sorry, Tom. I can't risk this.
Sorry, Tom. I can't let it happen again.
What?
We start talking about parallel universes and stuff.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's wild that we've gone from like pig farce to I stabbed my abusive husband's leg and left him to die in the woods.
Want to talk about
Like-
Becky Barnes now? Ooh, that monologue. I like.
That was a good monologue.
Say what you want about Becky Barnes. She's like a kind of a love interest in this one. But
Yeah.
god damn, that monologue gave me chills.
There is. We'll talk about the monologue because it is very good. But you're gonna have to let me know if I missed something. Tom and Lex, they meet up. Tom is like, "Give me the doll, give me the doll." He's clearly going insane. Becky's there. She's also clearly insane. She's like, you let her get away with the doll. Like, she also very clearly wants it. And then Tom has his moment of freedom, like, where Tom snaps out of it. Becky didn't? Did I miss something?
No, she didn't really have a moment of freedom other than stabbing herself and then.
What did I miss? Because that's a pretty big point.
She ended up tranquilized after that. Like even when they brought her over to Lauren Lopez's character, who we'll talk about soon enough. Don't you worry. But even when we got to that, she was still just like, and Lauren Lopez just said, she's drunk as usual. So they just like, I guess it was that a way of like writing her out of the story.
I see what you mean, like, because it's established with two things with Becky. One, Tom and her were obviously an old fling. And two, Becky and Linda have some tension. There's some tension going on immediately.
Yeah, neither of those,
I think that's the arc they were trying to go for.
But neither of them really
didn't
get
do
resolved.
No, not really. She just shoots Linda in the face, which is satisfying and cool, but not really great story-wise. I understand.
And I don't know how you two feel about this. We can get back to Becky, or you can just say agree or disagree, and then we'll get back to Becky. But there is a plot that involves a certain not very entertaining president that could have been like complete. I mean, it's important to the plot, so it's hard to say get rid of it. But it's like when you compare that, there's the Tom story, the mall story, the whole Tickle Me Wiggly, that whole thing. Yeah, and then the plot with the president. It's like the levels of quality. Tom and the mall doll stuff. It's at a reasonably consistently high point. But whenever the president's there, it's just like much further down. I do not like that stuff nearly as much.
Those scenes, I'd never watched any episodes of the show, but one thing I know about Stranger Things is the so-called Upside Down, which is has similar sort of rules to the Black and White, and has a similar sort of name, and also there's one kid who can see into this dimension and has like visions about it, and everybody thinks that this kid is just like kind of weird. So it feels like they were leaning really hard on Stranger Things, and I when I looked up the Upside Down, I saw a photo from the show with that exact setup of somebody in a space suit walking through this dark
Yeah.
dimension.
I've never
Black Friday was parody after all.
a little bit, yeah. Or if not heavily inspired, because there's a lot of Stranger Things and there's a lot of Stephen King references in this musical by far.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But yeah, Becky Barnes, like, again, she's first played off as a love interest, but then because they literally have a song about it where like literally everyone around them talks about like, what are they going to say to each other? Oh my God, they're like gossiping little birds. And it's funny. It's actually one of the funnier and lighthearted moments of the show, believe it or not, before things go down south. But I don't know, just and then like it gets to Act 2 where they are in the movie theater watching Santa Claus Goes to High School.
Do we want to talk about that later?
Later, please.
Later, fine.
Yeah.
Later.
Fine.
That needs its own discussion.
Absolutely.
But two things really strike me about Becky in this musical. One is that monologue. You hear Tom talking about like how he killed his wife, how he thought he killed his wife, and like how he feels guilty about it. And then she talks about how she's lived with her abusive husband or boyfriend or whatever, and how she was like abused by him, and she basically chased him in the woods with a knife and stabbed him to death. She didn't. And she says it much better. It's written much better than I ever put it, and it's like the audience is dead quiet throughout the entire the entire monologue, and ends with her being like, "You think you killed your family? I hope I did." And I was like,
"Can you prove to me that you're Santa Claus?"
It reminded me very much of the famous monologue from Gremlins, especially with the Christmas connection.
Oh God!
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. That I could not stop thinking about that. I was going through because
I didn't think about that. But now I'm gonna think about it. It's like even Gremlins 2 parodied that monologue. That's how much like
really.
Yeah,
now I gotta watch. I gotta watch Gremlins.
Yeah,
2.
they basically do the Gremlin without spoiling it. They parody that monologue by having her do another monologue, and it's just like. And
oh my
that's all I'll
God,
say.
I gotta watch this.
Just watch the scene. Gremlins 2 is weird. Anyway, and there's another point, and it's a song. What is it called? Do You Want to Play? Holy fuck, that's terrifying. Because, like, you could see the green light around both of them, signifying that they're possessed by the doll, and she just says, like, do you want to play? And I'm like, no, run away, Hannah. Please do not get away from both of them, because like both of them are possessed, and you're like, you're afraid of the protagonists.
Becky and they're great. It's such a weird turn because like we just came back from that really dark music, that really dark monologue, and we got to and they have a song together as well, and it's like we got to really know them as a couple, and then bam, they're basically henchmen for Wiggly. It was funny that they were starting up the song like Becky and Tom were also going straight to the audience, and at one point Dylan Saunders like scares one of the audience members like,
oh, it's so creepy but so well done.
Yeah. It changes on a whim, and both of them sell it super hard.
The acting is really good.
Yeah,
acting wise.
Yeah, I guess I'm not quite as in. I mean, like I said, the performance. You know, this is the stuff you study, right? But just as far as the writing goes, the play. I don't want to say it feels like disconnected, because everything does fit together and it all comes together, but it doesn't feel like there's a specific focus here. And I think the problem with that, I did want to bring this up. Random, you just said that Tom was the protagonist, and yeah, he has the main arc and everything, but he's really not in this all that much. The protag, which is typically the main focus, because that's the character that goes through the biggest arc, not in it all that much, and because of that, it just doesn't feel like there's this big focus. Like the writing for that scene I was talking about with Lex and Tom at the end beautiful. But as far as the play itself is concerned, I was thinking, I feel like this would have hit a lot more if I'm only drawing this comparison just to talk about one that, you know, the twist did hit really well. Something like Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals, where at the end, you know, it's like, oh, turns out we're all aliens, everybody's dead. Something like that hits a lot harder because we see a lot of Emma, but also Paul's the protag. So when it's like he's gone, it's like, oh my god, the protag's gone. Like, it's over.
It's over.
So it's just like, wow. But when that scene hits, it's like, okay, I feel for Tom. He's well written. I am glad that he's out of this mind control situation, but he hasn't been around enough for me to feel satisfied. And I left the play in general. We'll talk about the final shot, but I left the play feeling unsatisfied.
I think what they were trying to do maybe with this one was do more of an ensemble cast as well. Or like try to do like a midway.
I definitely
midway almost.
Yeah, I definitely felt that. The problem, I mean, ignoring the president, which, you know, whatever, that could just be a me thing. But like I said, the problem with doing something like that, if this play, and I know it's not its intent to be funnier, but if this play was funnier, then I think that actually could have worked really well. Think like Trail to Oregon, where the father is the protag, but there are so many scenes that just have nothing to do with him. But it still works, A, because it's much funnier, so there is, like, the comedy is what brings the focus together. But 2, that's just kind of way that the story is written. Here, the story is written that way, so it can work, but because it isn't funny, they all need to be really good, so that lack of focus is just like, well, it doesn't matter so much because everything is going to come together and it's really good.
I think the winning formula is kind of what you mentioned, that the winning formula for Trail to Oregon was that we enjoyed all of these characters.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
The goal of that with like who is going to kill off incentivizes them to make sure that everybody's
you have to like everybody.
You have to like everybody.
You technically don't have to like the ensemble, but that's a bonus.
That's a bonus.
Even with the Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals, you still liked a lot of the main cast to the point that when they did die,
yeah, you felt it.
You felt it. Like every single death, I was like, oh no. I mean, some were worse than others. Like,
well, Paul's I wasn't thinking, oh no. Paul's I was thinking, oh god, oh god, oh god,
oh god, oh god, oh no. Instead of
like
no,
Ted,
oh no.
Ted for instance, like, oh my goodness.
But yeah, I understand your thought. I think they were trying to do more of ensemble cast, but also trying to have a lead with Dylan.
Yeah, and this feels like a case. I guess it feels like a case of, I hate this term because it makes no sense, but it's like you made your cake and you tried to eat it, It makes no sense, but like they just tried to be a bit too ambitious, I guess, for their first venture outside of comedy. And I can hardly blame them for being ambitious. You know, I'm not sitting here being like, you know, I was complaining about this in sequel. Why are they doing this again? Like it's nowhere near.
No,
it is
not at
leagues and miles better. But this is the first one in a while, except for Annie, I guess. The first one in a while where I've kind of been like, you know, I'm not like super feeling it. And I just do think because there is no main through line. Like our protag isn't really a protag.
I'm fine with having more of an, because I think what they're also going for, and it may be just because I mentioned it earlier, but they might be going for something more of like television writing where you have multiple like ABC plots going through. When you go for ABC plots, you got to make sure that all of those are written well, because you can't just have one of your side plots be a president who's not that fun or funny, and then you have to spend a while with him, and you gotta focus.
Yeah,
you gotta focus and make sure that
we'll get to the president. Honestly,
yeah. Let's get back on track with the characters, I guess, because I said my
I don't think there's much else to say about Becky Barnes other than those monologues in that scene. But you know,
I wish she had a proper resolution like Tom did, but
yeah,
she just showed up again.
But I say she's like more developed than like a lot of the females in Edgar Wright movies.
That's
like
That's like saying I found a $50 bill instead of a $2 bill.
Yeah, are you
True.
kidding me? Like, let's be I love Edgar Wright, but are you kidding me?
Look,
Okay,
all
fine.
I'm saying is that if you want to draw a more fair comparison, Emma, Charlotte, nah.
But still pretty decent. And
I guess. I like the
better than,
monologue.
like-
I like the monologue. I like the monologue. I agree with you on that.
She's memorable in that respect, and
She gave Lauren Lopez some very funny lines.
and speaking of Lauren Lopez,
Linda
Oh my
Monroe
oh
and Emma
my
Perkins.
God, of course, the antagonist of Black Friday is a Karen. Of course, they had to do that, and I'm so glad they did. And also, she brought back the Draco voice.
Yes.
Yeah, we started with a British voice, and now we're ending with a British voice.
For now.
For now, but you know what? She made it work. Like I thought she was hilarious, but also like really like a good character too, because she was
so
funny.
I will say this. I forget what the guy. What's her husband? I guess what's his name?
Gerald.
Yeah. It was funny at first.
It kept happening too, like especially in the middle of stuff. There was one point where it was like happening in the middle of the song, and like the joke didn't land well for me at all.
Like it's just
I did like.
I'm not crazy when there's a joke and you like keep using the joke and there's no
Escalation.
yeah, it's like escalation and payoff, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's really no payoff to the joke either. Like if she was about to get shot in the head and she was like, "I'll tell Gerald," like maybe a chuckle, I guess. But
To be fair, they did try at least with like Gary Goldstein, attorney at law, answering the phone for Gerald. Be like, "Hey, yep, this is Gerald. Yep, hey Gerald, it's Gary."
That scene was good. That scene was funny.
Oh God! Hi, I'm Gary Goldstein. I was here earlier in line.
He's a good actor. That guy's a good actor.
He is.
It's good to see John Madison doing some non-boring roles, unlike Paul.
Oh yeah, he's so good. He's so good.
I like him.
But we're still talking about Lauren Lopez.
We're still talking about Lord, and yeah,
I do like the character. I do like how snobby she is, and I think again, I'll say this for the 10 millionth time. Lauren herself did a great job. I got no complaints about the acting.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of the. It's just, and maybe I wouldn't have minded so. I hate to keep saying this, but it's just because the other StarKid plays did a much better job of balancing them, even if that wasn't this play's intent. But this play was a little funnier and it had a bit more jokes. I might not have minded. It might have just been like a little annoying thing, but it's clear that it's like in a lot of the more serious scenes, this is like, oh, all right, this is going to be our brevity from the wait. You know, we're going to give you a good chuckle. And the good chuckle after like the 5th time, it's kind of annoying.
I did think one thing I liked that she was funny is their scene with like Uncle Wiley, I guess, / the devil. When she's like,
Dr.
"Do you
Wiley.
see him? Do you see him? Do you see him?"
Yes,
Lights
I
go
see
down.
him.
He just keeps. Yes, I fucking see him.
Yeah.
And
I thought for sure that like when I finished up the first act, I thought for sure they were gonna do like Satan equals Santa. I thought for sure that was gonna happen.
what?
Maybe if this was like Holy Musical Batman, that would have happened. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. I'm just trying to think of anything else about Linda Monroe. Her costume's pretty, like, she pulls off a Karen very well, and like,
Yeah, Lauren Lopez can act.
yeah,
Shock.
and she's also just like, you don't think it's kind of like you just like, oh, she's just an annoying Karen, but like, no, she's one of the main antagonists next to Wiggly, and she's like bringing the doll's birth, which is a little creepy and weird if you think about it, but like, also just like, other than Uncle Wiley, she's like the secondary antagonist.
Uncle Wiley is like the villain. She's the antagonist. She's like the main direct roadblock. Uncle Wiley is too busy off intimidating the president, but like, you know, Linda's here. Like, she's here. She's an obstacle. She's a threat. She's threatening the characters. Like, she is the antagonist.
Yeah, we'll talk about Joey Richter in a bit, but like, Uncle Wiley, I feel, well, yeah, I think you're right with Linda being the antagonist for Black Friday. Well, Uncle Wiley feels like something they're setting up for something long term.
Yeah. This is kind of, it's not a problem with Black Friday at all. It's a problem with pandemics. But it's just one of those things that it's like, you know, if the next part was out, or it wasn't delayed so much, then it's like, oh, maybe just like stuff that happens in the next one that Black Friday set up really well. And it's like, oh, okay, you know, maybe some of that stuff that I was complaining about, like, oh, it'll come back. But, you know, we don't know that yet. Fortunate. It's not their fault.
I mean, they do have Nightmare Time out, which is a stage reading, but we're not going to talk about that yet.
Yeah, but I mean, also, I'm pretty sure Nightmare Time doesn't have much to do with, at least, I mean, it has to do with Hatchetfield canon, but not like the big characters. Like, I know there's an episode about Ted. I think there's one about Bill or Charlotte.
There's an episode about almost all the main characters. Ted and Emma, Bill and his daughter, Tom and everybody, and Becky Barnes and his son. And as someone who's watched 2 out of 3 of them, they are indeed Hatchetfield canon, and some characters do come back. But that's a whole different ball game that we may or may not talk about later. But not anytime soon. As of now, yeah, Linda definitely the antagonist, and she plays it rather well.
She definitely looks like a Karen from Deal, New Jersey.
All right, do we want to move on to Hannah?
Yes.
Hannah! Oh, Hannah!
What is it, Mom? Mom, where are you?
Or I'm in the black and white, 2 doors, not one.
I was quoting Toy Story.
Yeah, I know.
She locked Spike the dog out into the black and white. Stupid dog.
Actually, this is also a first for StarKid. They actually got a child actor for this musical.
She was 14. She turned 14 while they were during the live run.
Yes.
Like, that's how young she is.
Yeah. And it's a big deal because StarKid before would usually just get like Lauren to be a child. But no, they actually
we have Lauren being someone else. What do we do?
Yeah. We'll get a real child this time. And she does a good job. Kendall does a really good job, like playing like the psychic kid who can see things that a lot of people can't. Like, it's not too much with her, but like you see the fear in her when she's like being like chased by Becky and Tom, and like she's more of like shines when like around other characters though.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, like, everything about Hannah herself, or I guess nothing about Hannah herself, didn't really stand out to me. Maybe it would have a little more now that Wash has brought up Stranger Things. Maybe that's kind of the direction that they were going with it. I know nothing about Stranger Things. My parents really like it. So maybe if I was a fan of Stranger Things, but now we're getting back into going all the way back to Harry Potter musical. How much should you know about other properties to enjoy what you're watching?
I also feel like it has to do with like it's also very Stephen King-ish as well, with the like psychic kid who has some sort of powers and connection to another world.
Yeah,
like that's a huge Stephen King trope.
Yes.
But I really liked her reactions with Ethan a lot. Like the whole magic hat scene was really nice. But I think that's more has to do with like Robert Mannion's acting than anything.
It was funny when Robert Mannion Hannah sees Ethan. Yeah, sees Ethan in the black and white, and Ethan starts acting like Jeff Blim all of a sudden. Like just...
I was gonna say he acted like his professor role.
No, way crazier.
Yeah,
way more aggressive and wild-eyed.
Yeah,
Jeff Blim.
Jeff Blim. Yep. But yeah, other than like the ending song, Hannah just more relies on the people around her. And which works.
I mean, you can make a character like that work, definitely.
Yeah, you can, and I think they did.
They did it all right. The problem, and this isn't even Black Friday has so many characters, but there are enough other characters to where, having a character that's purely reactionary is like, oh, okay, this scene got a good emotion out of me because of Becky and Tom. Hannah was there, but that's just kind of the thing.
And
I mean, again, no problems acting wise. It's definitely there.
Yeah. If anything, she just comes essential to the plot because she has the last doll.
Yeah. Which I do like the way that was set up. The whole thing with Lex stealing the doll so that they could sell it, and just so that she didn't have to have it on her during work. She gave it to her sister, who's carrying the backpack around.
Yeah, she didn't know that it was going to cause an uprising and a cult. Probably her first Black Friday. Anyway,
I do like that it only affects adults because they're the only ones that have that hole that they want to give it to their kids. Like everybody is there to get the doll for their kids.
Yes,
except for the brony.
Except for that, and the guy who kept saying, "I'm in a hurry."
I'm in a fucking hurry. Oh, Jeff Blim. Is there anything else? Is there anything else we want to say about Hannah? Because I can't really think of much. She did a good job.
We've got 23 minutes left. We're moving on.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. The only other thing I was gonna say about Hannah has to do with the ending. So we'll
wait. We're gonna do kind of rapid fire.
The president.
Yeah, I mean, he did a good job performance-wise, but like, I think the only reason he was in this musical was one, Stranger Things, and two, because just so we can have an excuse to get General John McNamara in the play again, which they could have written him in the mall.
Yeah, I feel like he could have just done it all by himself.
Yeah, like I think the only reason. Like, I was kind of wondering, like, why is it going to this random... Is it really a national emergency if it's outside of Hatchetfield?
No, but like, they said it was, like, nationwide or maybe even worldwide, I think.
Yeah. And the president was all right. You just see him controlled by the influence, but, like, he plays, like, very straight man. Very, like, not funny, but also, like, kind of boring. The only line I remember is, like, we can't be evil. I'm a status quo Democrat.
Yeah. It felt like I'll just pull this off now. It felt like they were going super hard on the social satire, especially with that stuff. And they even have one of the actors being Obama as a vice president. Let me be clear.
Yeah, that's Saunders.
That doll.
I definitely think I like the commentary a little bit more in Firebringer than here, but that could just be because I wasn't really crazy about the president.
Yeah. And also, this Sanders and James Tolbert's Obama impression is better than Nick
way better
in Holy Musical Batman.
Musical, yeah.
Good lord, way better.
My impression was just this.
But yeah, nothing much to say about it other than like the black and white scene's cool, and it's an excuse to get General John McNamara, which another returning character who I was happy. Who when I first viewed it, I was like even from the beginning, I was like, just the audience reaction, I was like, he was in another musical, wasn't he?
And there's only one that I haven't seen, so
yeah. So like when I first saw him in, I was like, oh, and then I saw that he was possessed, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? And that's why I was like, wait a minute. But anyway, they kind of work together, mostly off each other, and it's like straight man, very serious comedy. That is what they're trying to do, but it's all right. I think Jeff Blim is just Jeff Blim. He shines no matter what he does.
He just needs to do his wide smile, and everybody adores him for how creepy he looks.
Or tell people to wear a watch. One of the two.
Oh, that too. I felt like that was a little too much. Like, whoa, the audience cheering and clapping.
Oh, that reminds me. I love, instead of doing reprises, they have like little motifs of like the songs in the background. Like when
I noticed
when General McNamara comes in, you hear America's Great Again instrumental playing, and like when you hear when you see like Paul and Emma driving, you hear La Di Da Di Day, and it's like, oh
yes, I noticed that.
So I'm like, I think they are trying to do that instead of doing like a reprise, unless it's like really necessary, because there's not little to no reprises, if any,
which is impressive. You know, I remember back at Starship, I was saying that I bought a I like this about it. It only had 10 songs, but I think 2 of those songs were reprise, whatever. I think 2.
So most of Act 2 was reprises.
Yeah, so there's only like 8 songs, ignoring reprises, only like 8 songs in Starship, and now here it's like, there's 15, 14, whatever, and if any of them are reprisals, it's like,
there is one, and it's not even a song. Well, it's kind of a song. It's the scene where like General McNamara talks to Lex Foster. Monsters and Men reprise, and I like that scene a lot actually, because like you get to see Lex somehow conjure up a gun to shoot Sherman Young, which is
I was hoping that was gonna have maybe if I ever rewatch this I'll see it, but I was hoping there's gonna be some sort of setup to that, because it's just she's choking out, and like I honestly thought like it was just like, oh wow, we're just gonna have this very long song and then this character just dies. But then it's just like, no, you have the midichlorians all along. You just have to just think of a gun, and then it will show up.
It did bring back the callback line. I'm allowing you to use this rifle though, so I kind of forgive it a bit. I don't mind it too much. I don't mind it because like it's cool little references. Before I was like, why is everybody reacting to this? He's just authorizing her to use a rifle.
I'm okay with callback lines when that's all they are, but when you're using it to like mask stuff like that, not mask, but Band-Aid. I've been using this term like a freaking insane person recently, but that's a Band-Aid fix. It's not really an answer.
Yeah. Again, it's more Stranger Things. Like, I think maybe, I don't know. I don't watch Stranger Things either, but it's probably a reference to that.
I did some research, and apparently Black Friday sold really well, but the general consensus is that it's not as good as Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals. That's what I heard just from research. I don't know if that's actually what people think, but at the very least, it did sell really well, but people weren't as into it as Guy Who Didn't like him. So I'm not.
I think it's like either people really liked it or people were like underwhelmed by it. From what I've been told.
When I was going through some of the tier maker list and seeing what fans thought of like what were their favorites or least favorite, like I saw one that put like Starship on the bottom. Is like, okay,
yeah,
but I also saw
not looking at this one,
but also like I saw one tier list where somebody they put this musical in a separate tier for messy, but I like it, and I can see the appeal.
I can see that. Yeah,
I can see the appeal for that. There's definitely messy in terms of story.
We have a few more characters to go through.
Oh god.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's talk about Corey Doris. Forget his characters. Let's talk about Corey Doris.
Mr. Krabs. He's Mr. Krabs.
Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs.
Tell me he's not Mr. Krabs.
Okay, but like
he's
Mr.
even
Krabs,
wearing a red shirt.
No. Mr. Krabs wishes he could sing this good.
True.
Cha-ching,
Oh my god,
cha-ching,
the song itself was like, ooh, I'm digging this. It's catchy. But the song about that he sings about making money and everything, it's like, God, he's such a good singer.
Yep, I was so happy that he got a solo.
Yes, he's not. His solo isn't farting in Trello, Oregon. Like, it's a real solo, and he kills it. He does
so good. He does so good. And then he dies.
He gets his throat slashed.
Yeah,
which was
he's one of the first.
bad.
He's one of the first people to die, I think.
Yeah. Is he the first or no? Ethan's first.
Ethan's the first to die.
Ethan is the first, correct? Yeah.
Yes. Which that's sad because Robert Mannion does a good job. But
there was so little Robert Mannion in
I
this.
know.
I was let down.
I know.
But hold on. But we did at least get Robert Mannion as Christopher Kringle.
Oh my god, we gotta talk. All right, everyone else did pretty good. Like all the ensemble was great and stuff. And Corey Doris had a fantastic solo. Jamie Lynn Beatty was creepy as Sherman Young, talking about going against her typecast. Because oh my god.
Okay, all right. Random, if you want to cut this, by all means, like, I'm not gonna force you to keep this in. But I saw that it was Jamie Lynn Beatty playing a guy, and she had a blue and pink sweater on with white stripes. I'm like, that's the trans flag. Is this character trans? That's all I could think of the whole time, because she only wore the sweater, the jacket, whatever, that was blue, pink, and white. That's the trans flag.
I think
it's a girl playing a guy. This character's trans.
I don't think that's what they were going for.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That would have been amazing. But like,
that's just what I picked up.
What I think they were going for the stereotypical, like.
Well, I know what they were going for.
Brony.
I know what they were going for.
They were going for the brony. Also, did you know that John Madison voiced Wiggly?
Yes.
I found that out. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, right. He
The
actually
only
does a
reason
good-
I could tell is because of the accent. That was like the only reason. I was like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, only one StarKid actor has this kind of accent.
And at one point, like he both solves like this doll could be feasibly not creepy, and then at one point he goes, and I'm just like, oh god,
Why are people spending $50 on this again? Yes, of course, mind control.
yes, and Joey Richter, we talked about him a little bit as Uncle Wiley and the homeless guy.
I didn't think Uncle Wiley had much of a presence throughout the thing. That's why I called him the villain. But Joey Richter is good.
Joey Richter, he did great in the opening.
Also, he played a homeless guy.
Yes, the homeless guy is back.
Also, he played an elf whose only line was, "That's right."
All right, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna just
Let's talk about it.
Please, we have
Santa
to talk
Claus
about
goes to high school.
Santa Claus goes to high school.
Okay, I'll start with this. Like my old thing was like, if a StarKid musical has puppets, then I'm game. Now my thing is a StarKid musical has a musical within the musical, I'm game.
Yeah,
We had one in Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals. We got one here.
They walk such a perfect line of like, okay, you're laughing at it, but it's so poorly written.
Oh my god.
It's so funny.
It feels like it should be on Lifetime. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, what is this doing in a movie theater?
Oh god, because you have like Becky explain the plot, and she's like even questioning. It's like he feels out of touch with the youth, but so he's like trying to be. He's transformed into a high schooler, maybe.
Maybe. I loved the serious moments, and then they're talking and it pans to the movie because what they're saying is what they're saying in the movie.
So
funny.
god, it's so good.
I take back what I said before about the one scene being my favorite. It's that one.
You like this more than Show-Stopping Number?
No. I'm talking about Lex and Tom at the end.
Yeah.
I like this is definitely my favorite scene of the play.
It's
Show-Stopping Number though, like that's like top 3 StarKid moments period.
Yeah, it really is. Like this is no Working Boys, but it's still like first of all,
there's no Chad. There's no Chad. How can this be?
Yeah, and
You can't have Chad. You can't have it without Chad.
It obviously is making fun of it because Working Boys was also something that they made fun of because the plot was dumb and so basic.
The plot to Working Boys was a work of art, okay?
But even this, like, it's just so dumb. But like, I could see this being like a Lifetime movie if it got into the wrong hands. So like, I just remember at first I was very confused when I watched this for the first time. I was like, what the fuck? What? And then I just remember the grim note that Act 1 ended on, and then they open with this stupid musical number about Santa Claus being in high school. Which is foreshadowed early because because Ethan is buying tickets for Hannah. He's like, can I get so you want it? And you have Joey Richter as like a teen being like, that's 2 tickets for Santa Claus Goes to High School. And that title sounds ridiculous alone, and that's funny enough. But like, then you see it. And
so if StarKid were to make a full production, would you travel to buy tickets and see it live? My answer is yes. My answer is yes.
Yes.
If
question.
I really want to see. God, the fucking writing in this.
I know. I'm so curious.
But I gotta see, like, even though I know it's gonna be coming, I gotta see the. Well, if you're really Santa, tell me something only Santa would know.
Which is also problematic if you think about it, because Santa's 100 years old, and then just because he transformed into a high school kid doesn't mean it's like he's still in high school. It's technically really bad.
I can't, Noel. I knew it. You're not really Santa. And he puts on a hat, a red tricycle. Santa!
And then they make out.
So, like, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but at least it's not like senior year. The incompetency is intentional.
Yes.
Actually, those words just came out of my mouth.
Oh my god.
This was wonderful.
Yeah, that was great. Rewatching it, I was like, oh my god, so funny. Okay. Is there anything else we want to talk about for the ending? I do have one thing I want to talk about. Say what you will about the black and white. Wiggly looked cool in it. Like,
I like that they used the like the stage flashlights, the stage lights.
Yeah.
I like that they used those.
I kind of wish it was a puppet, but nah.
If it's more intimidating like this, like you don't even see.
I fully agree. Like I was expecting them to have like somebody in a full body Wiggly mascot suit, and then it would be like, oh, it's a cuddly mascot that tries to kill you, and I was like, it's gonna be like cliche. But the fact that they use this, not only did they use the stage lights, but they also use those I don't know what you call those like silver trails. I don't know what you'd call them for decorations. And they used that to form Wiggly's mouth to really sell this giant godly presence. And the fact that we don't technically see Wiggly means that our imagination fills in the pieces. And it's more interesting that way.
Yes.
I have a point to kind of bring up, but we only have 6 minutes left. So ending.
Quick thing. James Tolbert, it's his debut with StarKid, but technically not because he was also choreographer in numerous shows. So shout out to him.
Choreographer in this show too.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to him.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I want to say.
All right, ending time. Closing all the doors.
All the doors.
I was confused by it, yes, but it was interesting.
I mean, I think they're gonna, in Nerdy Prudes, they're gonna elaborate on it at some point, I'm sure. So the whole thing is that, you know, we just have to make it until tomorrow. We can make it through this Black Friday. We can make it through anything. And then I'm assuming what that noise was a Russian rocket missile, whatever, since the president attacked them, and that's the only thing that the whole president shenanigans stuff could really add up to.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what it is, but the fact that they leave it open, the ending left me. So if the play left me unsatisfied, the ending left me like empty, unsatisfied.
I'm pretty sure. Here's what I'm gonna say about it. I think Hatchetfield is like, we're in like a multiverse type of deal with Hatchetfield. Because again, everyone died in the last one, and they're back here. How is this possible? I think that like this is like some sort of multiverse or like different Hatchetfields around the universe, if that makes any sense. And I also think Black Friday is in a constant loop. Why do I think this? In the beginning of the prologue, you hear like a tick-tock sound at the start of it, like something is starting. In the end, when do you hear near the end of Tomorrow Comes? The sound of a ticking clock. I think it's just ticking all throughout Black Friday, and it's symbolizing that it is in a loop. I could be wrong. The writers have left it ambiguous for a reason. They're leaving it so it's up to interpretation.
I like that. You know, you can make theories like that, and I think that's an interesting theory. I think my only problem with it is that it's like, if it is, you know, in this loop. I mean, I like that it adds to the, if we can get through Black Friday, lol, you can't.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, you know, why? It's just questions.
Like,
I guess I can't say anything because the trilogy's not over.
Even then, I don't know if that this will be answered. I think this is like
this is just my big, my brain is massive. You can't comprehend the level of existence that I'm on. This is a prequel, and Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals came after. What happened when the lights went out? Nobody died. It's just the power went out. Everybody went their separate ways. Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals happened. Paul and Emma just forgot they met each other at some point, and then the rest happened from there.
I still think it's different universes.
It's definitely it's definitely different universes. I'm just having fun.
Yeah, I know.
When I looked up on the wiki for the Hatchetfield universe stuff, I don't know where they got this info from, but apparently the Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals was set in October of 2018, while Black Friday was set in November. Again, how did they get this?
I don't know.
2018 or a different...
Of 2018.
Well, it was still 2018. Okay,
no,
right.
Yeah, October 2018.
Like, yeah, because I think Bill mentions, like, we're seeing the October 12th production of Mamma Mia or something. I don't know. Or they mentioned that it does take place in October. And November, Black Friday, obviously. Right. That's why they're having some theories that...
the revision of my theory, everybody collectively got their calendar dates wrong. It actually takes place in September.
Yeah. But this is why I also hear that this is like making it like, oh, Nerdy Prudes is going to take place in December. People are theorizing Christmas or New Year's, which I think New Year's would be fun because it goes with the whole countdown thing, similar to what Black Friday was doing with the ticking clock. That's my theory.
I also think that, like, I feel like it shouldn't be Christmas because this basically is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Even though it's set in Black Friday.
Wash, you don't understand. It has to be Christmas. We could see more of Santa Claus Goes to High School.
Yes, absolutely.
But I will say this about Black Friday. Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals was kind of its own thing, or at least you could argue that it was. With Black Friday and the ending, where you not only see the cast of Black Friday, but you even see returning people who in the Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals. Like, yeah, you see the homeless guy in line, and heck, you even see Charlotte is in one of like as a cultist.
I recognized that sweater.
Yes,
yeah,
Charlotte.
That was cool. I didn't notice that at first. I thought it was just weird costume, but then I looked back, I was like, oh shit, and then at the end you see Emma and Paul, who of course were with them, which makes sense. But then you see Ted, you see Bill, you see I think Charlotte too, and like you see like a bunch of the returning people, and I'm like, oh my god, this is all connected. And I'm just like, this is connected. There's something bigger going on, and I love that this is ripe for theories. Like I haven't seen something ripe for theories like this since Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Granted, different animals. Entirely. And,
I was gonna mention Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared with the clock ticking. Like this takes place during the time episode. Time?
Look at the time. But yeah, I just love that. And I know a lot of people are like theorizing about what's gonna happen in Hatchetfield, and Nightmare Time does add on to those theories, while as also not really answering some questions, but also making more questions happen. I will say that from one of the 2 episodes I've seen. But I just love that like StarKid is giving this opportunity to like really theorize like what is going on in Hatchetfield. And I don't think we'll really know the answer, even when Nerdy Prudes Must Die does come out. And I'm okay with that.
Here's the question. The timer. Final thoughts?
Oh
my god. Who wants to go first? One of you two.
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. This was kind of a weird one for me because unlike a Guy Who Didn't Like Musical, I watched the second half like next day because I was so busy with current stuff. But I thought it was good. It certainly leans in really heavy into social satire, and some of it worked a little better than others. And we've talked before about like how it's got a larger cast, and unfortunately there's some cast members that just aren't as developed as others. There's still a lot of great memorable stuff. Monologue, obviously, like we haven't had a monologue that's good since Harry Potter senior year. but yeah, it was.
I just find it funny you're comparing Becky Barnes' monologue to the Gilderoy Lockhart one.
It didn't help that I watched that clip earlier today, so that's on my mind now. But so me and my mouse concubines. But aside from that, it's good. The ending confused me, and it was just like, oh, okay. It didn't feel very satisfying. I don't feel that you would have to watch what was the show we just said?
The guy who didn't like musicals?
Stranger Things. I don't think you have to have watched Stranger Things. Guy who didn't like musicals, possibly. If here's the thing,
it helps watching that. I will say that you miss a lot if you don't. Speaking from experience,
if it didn't have the audience, then like all this stuff of like of like, oh, how can I tell the time without my iPhone? Wear a watch. Like, if it wasn't for the audience, like, cheering during that, like, it would be like, oh, that's kind of a weird line. But the fact that it's there means you kind of should watch Guy Who Didn't Like Musical. And that did hurt a little bit. And I don't know, it especially, like, the ending, that ending song with just, like, What If Tomorrow Brings, or What If Tomorrow Comes. It's, I don't know, it ended on a flat note for me, hard. But yeah, it's good. It's not gonna to get to the heights of a Guy Who Didn't Like Musical. Like, that one was just like from concept, that's like brilliant. This one is, I've seen a lot of these ideas before, and they work well with what they can. We better freaking see Santa Goes to High School.
Would you rather see that or Working Boys if you had the choice?
Oh my god. Don't make me. The thing is, it's a choice between 5 o'clock can't come soon enough and Joey Richter saying, "That's right."
All right, Kirby fan, you're up next.
So the first thought that I had when I finished watching this was, I will bet you like $1,000 if we had invited Anayume on for this would have been completely different. I would have liked it a lot more. Here we are, of course. But overall, I did like it. There were a lot of things to like. I appreciate that StarKid is going into a bold new direction that they've never gone before, but in doing that, they are losing part of what made them actually good, not nostalgic and, haha, I liked this when I was 10. Like, actually, like, really good. And just naturally, if you have something that's funny and has some more dramatic stuff in there versus something that's heavy that has some more lighter moments in it, I guess, which does the better balance. And Black Friday probably has like the worst balance out of all of them, but it's also not trying to be funny, but then it's like, it's still like, the fact that they balance this very well for a lot of their plays there's just a lot to be said. But on the whole, I did think it was good. I probably put it below Twisted and above Senior Year. Probably means like a B- or something. It doesn't really matter anymore. But
we stopped doing that a while ago.
But that's probably where I'd put it. So it's still top half, but barely.
All right. I think I like this better. I definitely like this better than the first time I watched it. Mostly because I understood it a lot more. But at the same time, and I do like a lot of the characters. I do like Tom. I do like Lex. I do even like Becky Barnes. Because I'm a sucker for like the cheesy romance shit. I know I am. Linda, Lauren was great as always. Joey was great as always. Robert Mannion was not used as much as he should have, but when he was great. Jeff Blim was great. There's a lot of great things going for this musical. But I agree, there is a bit of a lack of focus to it. And it's not like Firebringer where, like, it's suffering because of those 4 writers. But, like, I feel like they tried, like you said, they tried to bite off more than they could chew.
That's much better. That is a much better phrase than the stupid cake one.
Yeah. They really tried to bite. They tried to, like, do the story about a haunted doll, but also make it a Stranger Things parody a bit. And
also a social satire. And instead of focusing on one really good story like they did with musical, like, if it was just about, like, the adventures of the mall with the doll, you could have had, like, maybe a Dead Rising thing going on, and it would have worked. But, like, I just feel like, yeah, they bit off more than they can chew, and it's still a good musical. I still enjoyed it, and I'm honestly really happy that it's giving me something to theorize again, because, like, I love when things like Gravity Falls and Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared give me something like, oh, we gotta watch this twice and look at the details and really pay attention to the lines, because, like, there's some things, like, in The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals or there might be some references to that, and like, oh, that might be important later, because for all we know, it could be. But I agree, they bit off more than they can chew in this one. And so, but I still really did like it. And so my rankings, as of now, from the bottom up, Me and My Dick, Annie, The Harry Potter Musical, Holy Musical Batman, A Harry Potter Sequel, A Harry Potter Senior Year, Firebringer, Black Friday, and then Twisted, Trail to Oregon, Starship. I am debating on whether it should be higher than Twisted, though. Like, I need to rewatch Twisted again, honestly. I'm going to rewatch so many of these, even though I don't have to. But yeah, so right now,
I guess before... Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, as of now, Black Friday is in the top 5, but that could change.
Yeah, so I guess real quick before we get to our next point, I can go over them because I have now seen every single theatrical StarKid production, so I can yatter off my first impression rankings from the bottom up.
Ooh.
Those would be at the very bottom. Give $0 to whoever can get this right. It's that predictable. Me and My Dick. Directly above that would be Harry Potter Sequel. Directly above that would be Harry Potter Musical. Then Annie. Then after that, it would be Holy Musical Batman. Above that, it is Harry Potter Senior Year. Above that, it is Black Friday. Above that, it is Twisted. And then above Twisted would be Firebringer. Above Firebringer would be The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals. After that, it is Starship. And then, just as predictable as Me and My Dick, my number one on first impressions is Trail to Oregon.
Yup.
That's a solid list right there.
You don't have one, do you?
That could totally change when I watch these a second time, which I am going to attempt to watch all of these twice.
Yeah. My main thing is, like, which one's going to be number one, because right now Starship and The Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals are tied. So, well, it could be either or. It could be none of them. Maybe Twisted will take the spot.
It could be Trail. It could be Twisted. It could be Harry Potter Sequel. Huh? Who knows?
No, I can tell you that now. Wash, do you have a list or?
No.
Okay. All right. You'll think about it later. But
I'll think about it when I can actually have, because we've had experiences before where it's like the second time we watched something, it's like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was. So,
well, yeah, but the whole point is that you can see how your list has changed. That's the whole reason why I yattered off mine.
Yeah,
I suppose so. It doesn't help for me that I have as usual, I have a hard time remembering a lot of these. That's why I write so many notes, so I could, like, refresh myself.
No worries.
There's definitely that whole gap between Twisted and Starship. That's super up in the air.
I think the only thing I could probably say is, I feel like as of now, like, Black Friday might be, like, upper half, similar to Random, but maybe, like, 6th place.
Okay.
But that's really all I can say. It's good. There's a lot of really solid stuff about it, but it doesn't have, like, the wow factors of a lot of the others.
I gotcha. But you know who does have the wow factors? the actors. It's time to talk about the StarKid Spotlight. Which actor you thought really shined in this musical? Which one of you
final...
Wash, can you go first?
What, you have a hard time?
Yeah. I mean, I have a couple ideas, but none of them are really sticking out.
Okay.
Unless you don't, then I can just throw off a random.
Hold on. Let me. I have one in mind, but let me just check through to make sure. Yeah, I think I'll just go with I'll go with Dylan Saunders.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, Dylan Saunders is first off, seeing Dylan Saunders again after this long, like, welcome back.
It's literally last time we saw him in a show was Twisted. That was like right after senior year, so like production number 7, maybe.
I think it was production number 7 actually. Yeah, good lord. It's been a while. It's good to have you back. And you know, for when he steps in, like, he's fully into the role. Like, goddamn, Dumbledore, he's grown so much since then. So yeah, and also like the amount of pathos that he pushed into this, the amount of desperation that he pushed into the performance, like, he sold it. He sold it really well.
All right, who's up next?
That would be me. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
So I did have kind of a hard time thinking of one, not because anybody did bad, but for the first time in a while, I actually don't think anybody really stood out. I think they all kind of acted on an equal level. Maybe one or two that are like slightly below, but nothing too crazy. The only thing that I can really think of is freaking Joey Richter in stupid Santa Claus is coming to high school, but I'm not gonna pick based on that. Part of me wants to pick Jeff Blim just because this is the last time I'm gonna be able to, and I really like him. But he didn't, outside of him being here and really, really liking him, a guy who didn't like musicals. There was nothing too crazy about it here. So yeah. I think I'm gonna go Corey Doris because I loved his song, and typically he plays either a sillier character or, well, I guess he played a more serious character in like Potter senior year, but I don't know, this one, it felt different for what I'm used to. I mean, I also think Corey Doris, and I only think like Trail to Oregon and After, so many pre-Oregon, I forget that he's in because it's like, oh, ministry guy in senior year, who cares?
Yaxley,
me and my dick, please, not this.
Yaxley in sequel.
Yeah, which is that one's okay. So I just kind of forget about all of those. But even thinking about those, I think this one's pretty unique, and I think he does it good. So I am going to give it to Corey Doris.
Nice.
Good work, Mr. Humburger.
All right, random. No, for the last time,
it's Principal Hung.
For the last time, random, Spotlight a Starlight. That came out horribly wrong.
It did. You know, there's a lot of people I could think of, and I think, if I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna give it to Angela Giarantana for Lex Foster. I really liked her performance in this one, and like mostly because of the Black Friday song.
Oh yeah,
because she's able to sing it, but also like really act it out too. And I don't know, like she did play like the typical like, I'm sick of this bullshit team, but like also you did have moments where she cared, and not only that, she was originally like an understudy who played the role. So her jumping in when she originally wasn't supposed to play the role and kicking ass like that,
yeah,
I'm gonna give it to her.
I very good, totally, yeah, just fantastic role.
I actually I see her more for this role than I did with Mariah, honestly. Like, and fun fact, according to TV tropes, so I could be wrong, Mariah will not do. She does like some covers and stuff for like songs, but she's never going to be doing a cover for Black Friday because she doesn't want to compare like Angela to be compared to her. If that makes any sense.
No, it does. It does.
I like that. That's nice of her.
And like
and shout out, of course. I'm going to give my honorable mention.
Of course.
Honorable mention goes to Robert Mannion as Christopher Kringle.
Yep.
and also Ethan as Jeff Blim.
And also Jeff Blim as General Mcnamara and the I'm in a hurry guy.
And I'm in a hurry.
I'm in a hurry. Yeah, okay. That's my honorable mention. Jeff Blim, not for Mcnamara, but for the I'm in a hurry guy.
Yeah. Oh God. And
We
yeah,
did it.
We're done. We're done. Now we just got to do the finale, which I guess we could talk about a bit. So What are we doing for the StarKid Starlight?
Well, we're doing
finale?
We're doing a couple things. First off, these two have got to watch these musicals a second time.
I'm
at least.
so excited because of what else I have to do for the podcast. Oh.
Yes, and while we're working on the next project, KirbyFan is playing a big part, and I'm not going to say what it is.
Yeah, I have my work cut out for me.
Yep, they have their work.
It's my own fault, but
yeah, they have their work cut out for them. I'm also going to have them watch an hour-long documentary that StarKid did of
the 10th
anniversary, where they basically look at behind the scenes and stuff, and you basically get to see accounts of all the StarKid actors being in one show. Well, most, if not all. A lot of them were in it, and that's gonna be where we ended off, and then we're gonna do our final rankings, and we will solidify who is our StarKid Spotlight. I might throw in something about like the actors, but they're just gonna have to wait and see when that happens. It's not gonna be too crazy, so don't worry.
Do we have to prepare like actor rankings? Because I don't want to choose. That feels way meaner than choosing like.
You know what I want to do.
What?
I want to have two different rankings. I want one for the standard, Pixar-spective, cinema-son, blah blah blah. I also want to do one for the songs, like how did the musicals rank per songs, just looking at the numbers. I want to do that. I really want to do that.
Like which soundtrack is better, or
yeah. So it's like obviously you have the standard one where it's just like the one that me and you just gave out, and then we have one for like let's say that Twisted has my favorite songs, but only ranks number 5 on my list. On the songs list, Twisted is number 1. On my own list, Twisted is number 5. That's okay.
Ooh, I gotta think about that. Do you guys want to do that?
I want to.
That's a cool idea.
And what's really nice about that one is that it's so little effort because we can listen to the music on like car rides.
Yes, honestly,
that's very true. Yeah, and it also I feel like it's good for the rewatch to kind of give extra context for yourself, something new to look for this time around.
Yes.
Than just consuming these.
All right, let's do it.
Nice.
Okay, fine. So we will see us rank not only the musicals based on the musicals themselves, but their songs as well.
Post your list predictions in the comments.
Yes.
Or your own list.
Yeah. Honestly, post your own list. And speaking of posts,
I want to see lists that's nothing but Trail to Oregon on the bottom and me and my dick at number 1. That's all I want to see.
All right.
Give us your hottest take. Give us
your hottest take.
And also like send it over to the Twitter account.
Yes. Speaking of the Twitter account,
Wash your bit.
My bit is that, like I said, we have a Twitter account. If you like our stuff, you can follow us on WRK Podcast. We'll let you know on updates, and also if you have any if you have anything to just add to say to us, then you can like talk to us there. And we also have our own Twitter account, but that's a separate issue. And also we have a YouTube account that you might be listening to, WRK in progress, or you can look up Pixar Perspective or StarKid Spotlight, and we're usually at the top results. And if you like this one, you can check out all of our other podcasts, which we've done quite a few different series over at wrk.simplecast.com, not SoundCloud for the final time.
Oh, sorry, this is nowhere even close to the final time.
But anyways, as we've seen the last StarKid musical so far, and before we get to the finale, I'm Random Bystander here.
I am the Wash.
The finale can't come soon enough.
The finale can't come soon enough.
Bye-bye.
Oh, you were supposed to sing it. This is why you're not going to get in Working Boys.
Okay,
This is why you're not an alien, according to a guy who didn't like music.
This is why you're not the next red line of StarKid.
Okay, look, I can't be Chad, okay? Like, not all of us can be Chad.